we'll do the live thing first. Like. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bigmark podcast. It's me, your host, Bigmark. If it's your first time watching, welcome. If not, welcome back. Like I always say, if you ever wanted to reach out to the podcast, let us know for any reason. If you wanted to join us here in the studio, in the new studio, at least this studio for now, and be a guest, or I can come to you. The podcast is somewhat mobile. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that really, but at least for our longtime listeners and watchers, they'll know that that's for sure, especially with all our different episodes. If you're new to the Bigmark podcast, you might not know that I've tried different formats as well for the Bigmark podcast, not just different episodes and different topics. Like I've always said, I always want to have a broad range of topics from sports to psychedelics. So check out some of those cooking classes, so to speak, and some recipes and such. I did them as close as I could to recreating some of my favorite Food Network shows of old. Anyway, I digress, as we do here on the Bigmark podcast. Again, thank you all for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to watch or listen wherever you are. You can watch it on YouTube or on Spotify, or listen to it wherever you are listening to it. So again, thank you. Thank you for doing that and joining us here. Super excited to have you. It's the best way you can support the podcast is by doing exactly what you're doing. But if you did want to kind of go that extra mile, like and subscribe and engage with the podcast and tell your friends about it. And of course, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/thebigmarkpod. That has a few different levels there that you can support the old fella. So again, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. Really appreciate it. Been super excited to get this episode together because it is part 2 of the Mariposa journey that Wreckless Harbour, my band, has gone through, and it was such a wonderful experience from start to finish. Honestly, I really can't say more for my own experience. I had so much fun. I know. All the other boys in the band are also super grateful and had a lot of fun too. So it was one of those things where it's really hard to quantify at the end of the day, or I wish I could say thank you to every single person individually that I met over the time, especially the volunteers and, everyone who attended the festival and took time to say hello to us and all these different things. And, the only way I can kind of tell the story is kind of tell the story. And we got there on Thursday. So, it was July 3rd to the 5th, 2026, but we got there out on the 2nd. All the boys took off. It was weird up here in Canada for all of our non-Canadian listeners, non-North American listeners, I should say. We had our Wednesday Canada Day celebration, which is our big day off. We had that on the Wednesday, which was weird this year. So having a holiday basically in the middle of the week is kind of interesting. So anyway, we took the rest of the week off just for the whole festival. I mean, again, there was time, so we're like, whatever, we're taking Friday off, might as well take Thursday off, whatever. Because we had all that time off, and also one of my bandmates, Trevor, has broken his ankle, so he had all the time in the world. The festival actually reached out, Mariposa reached out and said, hey, do you guys want to play an early show? It's kind of like a welcome to the festival show, and anyone who's in town early can kind of come by, and they shut down part of the street in Orillia. And if you hadn't listened to part 1, Orillia, Ontario is the home of Mariposa. It's been the home of Mariposa since 2000. It was the original home as well, but then they kind of got booted out because the hippies were probably taking too much acid and wandering into people's lawns and stuff. They voted them out, and then for quite a few years, actually, from about 66, I think, till 2000, the Mariposa Folk Fest was held elsewhere. So anyway, one of the downtown streets in Orillia, Mississauga Street, gets shut down for this little festival that they asked us to join, which was super fun. Eva Kabande started, Boreal played as well. we had our little set too, which was super fun right on the street there. And then Lloyd Spiegel and his band were there. They're actually in from Australia, and their drummer had like literally landed in Pearson and came right to Aurelia. So he was off like a fucking whatever 18-hour journey, who knows at that point. So it's only folk and roll, but we like it. So it was really interesting to kind of see that, right? Because I mean, there were so many different bands playing. Our first gig was on the Friday, and we played like kind of like almost 6 o'clock, 5:40ish. It was like the festival had started, was well underway, but again, you know, if people were kind of coming from work, not everyone was necessarily at the festival yet. But it was super cool. It was on the pub stage, which was like one of their side stages, but that was still pretty significant. I'd say the tent probably held 200 people, maybe 300 altogether, maybe 250, but still really like with people on the outside and stuff, but super fun. It was really awesome to play that, and, you know, really feel supported obviously by the stage management and people. Roxanne was one of our stage managers, and she did a great job, and everyone on the sound tech world was very accommodating and totally helped us out. Obviously Trevsky wasn't too mobile, so we were kind of trying to be his stage hands as well. But again, it was super fun, and the crowd was loving it, and people got great pictures of us, and it was like super exciting. And then it was actually kind of nice to be done like relatively early, because then we enjoyed the rest of the evening. Billy Bragg played, Ducks Limited, and then Father John Misty came on, and I had not seen Father John Misty yet. I'd not actually seen him live, and I was kind of interested. I wondered if I was gonna be able to meet him potentially. Like some of these guys, like I mean, Steve Earle was there, and all these people. I'll tell you. And it did feel like I got to meet a lot of people too, but you know, it wasn't like necessarily like all the artists weren't always commingling. However, so after that Father John Misty show, we did get an invite back to like an artists only after party, which was super cool, and it was at the record studio of actually Nixon Boyd. He's the guitar player of Colorado, which was super cool to see his gold record for Juliet. And, you know, we were talking to him for a while, and it was super cool that he had his place there, and we got to chatting to him for a while, and then we ended up getting our album to him later too, which was super fun. So again, we were kind of thinking, oh, it's this artist after party, who's going to be there, all this stuff, but it wasn't necessarily like this huge, like, oh my God, all these famous people are there, whatever, but it was still super fun. And again, super, I keep saying super, it was very fun. The outpouring of love was tremendous, and the whole festival was great. So again, that Friday was kind of whirlwind, and we got into the hotel later, and there was all this kind of fun. They put us up at Casino Rama. I can't believe I almost forgot that. At Casino Rama, which was super cool. Like, I mean, again, the hotel was nice or whatever, but it was like fun to kind of like be attached to the casino there and all that fun stuff, because people were kind of coming in and out. But then we also got a shuttle to and from the hotel, so you know, it did feel like we were very well taken care of. And again, meeting all the different, like Cowboy Fred, and meeting all the different shuttle drivers was wonderful. It was really fun to see all these people, and it was also super fun to see all of our showcase winners. So the emerging stage showcase. So ourselves, Wreckless Harbour, Vicky Brittle, JD Crosstown, and Dane Peterson Dane Peterson were, I always want to say Penderson, but Daner, as I call him, Dane Peterson was the fourth winner. And it was really nice to reconnect with all of them, and hopefully we're going to kind of get some shows going with them later on, and all this fun stuff. And it was really cool to have them and around, right, as this kind of these touch points throughout the festival. And we got to go see some of their shows, and it was just like a really cool atmosphere of everyone. all the artists are kind of also walking around stages and looking and watching. And again, you're running into all these different people. Adam Baldwin, he was there. He's a really, really great artist. He was in Matt Maze's band as well. So it was like really cool to see them, or to see him. Dan Mandangan, super cool. And then on Saturday, we actually got to do this workshop, it's called, and I did mention it in part one, but apparently these workshops are common with Canadian folk festivals. And when we were told that we were going to be a part of this workshop, we're like, oh, this should be fun. We had seen, I think, one on Friday and a couple on Saturday, thinking like, okay, singer-songwriters just kind of come up and they kind of rotate through their songs, and they kind of go, oh, this is mine and this is mine, and maybe some people win to win if they can. But it seemed weird with all the singer-songwriters. Everyone just has a guitar. I think one of them had a piano, but we were just kind of thinking, oh, I wonder if we can kind of jam a little bit more on this one. So we kind of thought about how we want to do it. We did pick a song that we would think everyone would know, and we kind of taught them on stage. But we were actually up there with Dane. Dane joined us. And then the other band, The Longest Johns. And we, up until this point, we had never heard, like, I didn't really put two and two together. I'd heard of them before, but they were actually made famous by, a few years ago, some sea shanties kind of took over TikTok. Sea shanties took over TikTok, and there's a rendition of the Wellerman. Soon may the weathermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. Like that song, like it's very yo-ho, a sea shanty. The Longest John's version of that is what actually went viral, and they ended up doing like sea shanties for nautical themed D&D parties and making D&D dice, and they just kind of really leaned into their shtick and they know their audience really well. And we had really no idea. They're from Bristol in the UK, so it was really cool to meet them literally on stage. They had driven in from Peterborough, and their van broke down because they put gas in a diesel engine, or vice versa. I can't remember which one you can. I think you can put gas in the diesel by accident. No, I think it's the either way. They put the wrong type of petrol in the old fucking car, and it fucking wrecked. So they got there just in time. So we were literally meeting them on stage. And then they started doing some songs, and we kind of windowed into a couple of Dane songs. We did a song too, and it was so cool. There was a great crowd there. The weather was kind of not cooperating so much on Saturday. It rained a little bit, but spirits was still super high. And we ended up doing an awesome rendition of Baird's Privateers by Stan Rogers, and it was unreal. Dane led it. The Longest Johns knew the refrain. We all sang together, and it was so fucking fun. And everyone saw how much fun we had, and people were coming up to us for the rest of the festival saying how much they enjoyed it, and that was so special. And again, it was really fun to finally. And then Nixon got to play from Colorado. He played some of his own solo stuff. Wax Mannequin, also from Hamilton, which is super cool. The Great Lake Swimmers and O.C. Elliott did a cool little workshop stage as well. Adam Baldwin and Dean Workman and Justin Rutledge had this cool little workshop. So again, these workshops all kind of go around. It was really cool. Mo Kenny played a great set. And it was just so special. The rest of the Saturday, just kind of walking around, listening to people, hearing new bands. Darla Daniels is phenomenal from Western Canada, phenomenal. Sarah Harmer ended up going back up there again. The Longest Johns did end up having their own set on the pub stage, which was super packed. So it was fun to go over there and watch that. We kind of snuck inside stage a bit, and then it was cool to see them do the Wellerman song live, because people were fucking just so down. And it's crazy hearing them live. Like their recordings don't even really like do them justice, because one of their singers, John, one of the only John Darley, which is hilarious, not John Harley, who's my buddy and my band member. He was the one who did the bass, and it was just like so cool and crisp, and it was really interesting doing the workshop with them because you could hear that on stage, and it was just fucking sent chills. Yukon Blonde played Saturday too. That was super fun to watch. And Sharon Van Etten and the Attachment Theory went on and closed out Saturday night, and it was literally one of the better concerts I've seen. It was so well done. The whole band was really rocking. It was crazy. There's fucking so many bugs because you're like right on the water at the at Tudhope Park here, where in Aurelia, where the festival is held. But she just absolutely killed it. It was super cool. And then there was another little after party that night too, and it was actually funny at the Saturday one. It seemed to be a little bit busier, and there was a few more of the people from all the different bands there, and it was super fun. But all of a sudden, I'm just chilling there, and I get a tap on my shoulder, and this guy turns around, and I'm talking to him, and he's got an Australian accent. He's like, "Hey, are you do you host a podcast, like the Escarpment Labs podcast?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Oh man, I'm Scott from Quails." Sorry, Scott. Oh my God, Bonham. No, I was gonna say Bonham Carter, but anyway, Scott from Quails, and it was fucking hilarious because he's like, "There's all these musicians here, and like I just wanted to come and talk to you about the Escarpment Labs podcast and the yeast and all that stuff." So that was super fun, and it was nice to see him. What's up, brother? Nice to see you again. And again, super fun. That's the night we gave Nixon our record. We met Raina Duras from Indie 88 and NPR, and she's a great radio host, and that was super fun talking to her. And again, it was just a super fun weekend all around. Everyone was so great. Sunday there was tons of shows. Honestly, Sunday might have been an even better day for music because Wreckless Harbour didn't play at all. We got to see Dane Peterson's set. He was fucking incredible. We got to talk to his parents after, and that was super special. Gwennifer Raymond killed it on the guitar, and it was kind of one of those things where, I mean, it was a long 4 days, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then into Sunday. It was hot and sweaty, and we just got to see a few other bands get together. And I dipped out. I did not take the Monday off. I should have taken the Monday off like the rest of the boys did, because there was great other bands that went up on Sunday. Like I said, almost equally good day for bands. There was an amazing Tragically Hip tribute, and then there was a Neil Young tribute as well. And all these people just got to go back up and do their whole thing. It was so phenomenal, and it sounded phenomenal anyway. I wish I was there, but I had to dip set. So the boys lived vicariously, or I lived vicariously through the boys. And Steve Earle ended up closing out the night on Sunday night, which was super cool. And then St. Paul and the Broken Bones took it home. And that was on the Lightfoot stage, the Gordon Lightfoot stage in Aurelia at Tudhope Park. It was so special. I'm so grateful. I'm so privileged to have been a part of that. It feels vindicating and validating in so many different ways of all the hard work that we have done as musicians, not just in Wreckless Harbour, but up until this moment. I'm totally aware of it and grateful for every moment that we are a band and we are able to do this, because we get to do this. This is something we've chosen to do. This is something that we want to do. And yes, it can be taxing, it can be hard, all these different things, but we love it. And that's what we're here for. We're here to play music. We're here to open people's ears. We're here to open people's minds. We're here to connect with people through music. And truly in any setting, but in a concert setting, it is a two-way street. It is not just the artist playing to the people. There is just as equal of an energy that is rebounded from the audience to the stage, especially when they're interacting with the artist. And again, looking out into some of these crowds, it was super special to see the connectivity between people, and it was really, really fun use that stage as well and have a lot of fun. And again, like I said, I want to thank everyone that I met, everyone who attended the festival and stopped. We got to sit at a little signing booth. They gave us like a designated time to sign autographs, and we kind of stood outside the merch table and we got to sign our merch. And a lot of people bought our new shirts, which was super cool. A lot of people bought smaller things because it was a big merch tent that had everyone's merch. So I think people were just kind of grabbing little small things, but it was really cool that people were still buying stuff. We got to see a lot of faces from the showcase and reconnect again. And it was super, super special to see everyone. So hello and thank you to everyone. Thanks for the shirt. And hopefully we'll see you next year and every year after that. And, you know, Spencer, the artistic director of the whole festival, was just phenomenal. And we got to see him a few times just as he was running around. And again, I wanted to thank him a lot. But I did pass on the letter to all the Mariposa volunteers. And if you are listening to this and you're a Mariposa volunteer, hello, say hello in the comments there. But hope this letter got to all y'all. To all Mariposa volunteers. As a former offensive lineman, I'd like to think I know a thing or two about hard work going unnoticed. O-linemen are the last to be recognized on scoring plays and the first to get blamed when something goes awry. I wanted to start off by saying that the volunteers of Mariposa know a thing or two about hard work, and I don't want that hard work to go unnoticed. From the shuttle drivers to the parking attendants, the ticket takers and the peacemakers, the sound techs to the stage managers, the food vendors and the hands that prepared the meals, the smiling faces and the new friends and old friends, I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. 4 long, hot, humid days can take the toll on the best of us, but I never saw a spirit drop or a smile fade. That energy stayed at its highest point from the outset and never wavered. We knew as soon as we met so many of you at the Emerging Artist Showcase that we were going to be well taken care of. The outpouring of love and support from the whole community was an honor to witness and receive. Every artist and their teams were looked after. On behalf of the rest of our band, fellow artists and performers, thank you. Our hearts and soul are full of song and dance. See y'all next year. Much love, Mark from Wreckless Harbour. Thanks, y'all. I love ya. We'll see you at the next festival. Check it out if you haven't been. Go to Aurelia, get your tickets, get your camping spot for next year, get a hotel because they're hard to come by. I love y'all. Talk to you next week. Peace.